Alrighty, students, how you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's having a good weekend so far. So I'm coming to you guys with a question that was from the previous quiz that'll also be on the quiz this upcoming tomorrow, actually. Okay, let me just title this one Operations on Polynomial. Okay, so let's say you had a border and you had a garden that was inside of the border. Okay, so let's say you knew what the length was of the garden included with the border included with the garden. Okay, so the whole thing. So let's say you knew that the length of this one, okay, was 7. Okay, actually, no. So let's say this is 7 feet. Okay, and let's just say this is we'll say this is 11 feet. Okay, now that is the length of the actual border. Is the whole border, and the width of the whole border is 7 feet by 11 feet. Now, let's say inside of this border, you have a garden. Okay. All right. So the garden goes from here to here. Let's say you don't know what the length and the width is of that one, though. Okay. But let's say that the measurement from the outside border to the garden has a length of x. So from here to here is length of x. That's x. This is x as well, and that's x. Okay. So with the length of x that you have that you're taking off from each side, you want to find out what is the area then of the inside of that garden. Okay. So here's what we do know. We know that the length of the whole thing is 7. Okay. So let's talk about the area. If we want to find the area of the garden, okay, we want to find the area of the garden. Area of the garden, okay. So, well, what do we know about the area of the garden? We know that area equals length times the width, right? That's what we do know. Now, we don't necessarily know what the length is of the garden, right? Like, we don't know what it is to go from here to here because we don't know what that is. However, we do know that the border is 7 feet going from here down to here, okay? So this whole length is 7 feet. Now, if this whole length is 7 feet, but the garden, it's 7 feet that's included with it, but it's plus more as well, right? So the garden doesn't start here, it starts here. Okay. And the length though from here to here is X, right? And the length, the garden doesn't start here, it starts here, and the length from here to here is X as well. So I have a measurement of this X and that X that's been taken off from the 7 that includes the length of the actual garden itself. So the length of the garden equals 7 minus 2x. Okay. 7 minus 2x. And like I said, the reason why is because I'm taking off a measurement of x on this side from this length and the measurement of x on this side from its length as well. Okay. Now, what about the width? Well, the width of the garden doesn't starts here and it ends here, but we don't know what this length is, okay? We do know that the length of the border, the outside border, is 11 feet, but 11 feet is more than what the width is of the garden. And as you can see, it's the same thing with the length. We take off an X amount from here, from this width, and we take off an X amount here from this width. So we took off an X amount from 11 here and another X amount from 11 here to give us the width of the garden. So that is going to be 11 minus 2X. Okay. So if you want to pause it right now, rewind it back to see to make sure you understand what was going on, then you can. Okay. Now here's the thing. I'm going to go to the next page. So we're saying that the area of the garden, well, we know that area equals length times the width, and the area of the garden in this case, A equals the length was 7 minus 2x. So this was 7 minus 2x. And then we got to multiply that by the width. Now, since this is a quantity, this is a binomial, when we do multiplication, we got to put this in a group. So maybe I put that in parentheses, okay? So this, and the parentheses represent multiplication. So this is going to be multiplied to the width, which was 11 minus 2x as well, okay? And this is how you find the area of the actual garden itself. So what you're going to do is called the double distributive property. I'm sorry, what you're going to do is a process that's called double distributive, or we call it the FOIL method, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take the 7, and you're going to distribute the 7 over here to your second binomial. You're going to distribute to the 11 and to the negative 2, okay? And when we do that, we get 77 minus 14x, okay? 7 times 11 is 77. 7 times negative 2, x is negative 14x, all right? So now we're done distributing that 7 because there's no more terms over here. We now look at the next term in our first binomial, which is the negative 2x, and we distribute that now over to the other binomial. So we're going to distribute that to 11 and to 2x as well, okay? And when we do that, negative 2 times 11 is negative 22x. Negative 2x times negative 2x. Well, negative times a negative is automatically going to be a positive. 2 times 2 is 4. And you have the x and another x, so that's going to be x squared. That's the product property. Okay. Okay. All right. Now that we know that, we got to look in our expression now. We have 77 minus 14x minus 22x plus 4x squared. We now want to find, do we have any like terms? Meaning they have to be the same type of variable. We have to look for a term that's either has the same type of variable and the same power, okay? So the only one that has the same variable and the same power is the negative 14x and the negative 22x. So since that's the case, we're going to rewrite 77 over again. You're going to combine negative 14 and negative 22. And when we say combine, the operations are either addition or subtraction, okay? Again, when you do combining like terms, the operation is always going to be addition or subtraction. Well, both of these negatives, okay? So we're going to keep it negative. And then you're just going to add them together. So 14 and 22 becomes 36. So this is going to be a negative 36x. And then we're going to drop down our plus 4x squared. You do not combine the 36x and the 4x squared because they are two different terms. This one has a variable of x, but this one is raised to the power of 1. I'm sorry, the negative 36 has a power of x, but is raised to the power of 1. The 4 has a variable of x, but this is raised to the power of 2. So this is two different terms. Okay. And this is your answer. You are done. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. Hopefully that help you out tomorrow on the actual quiz too as well. So yeah.